Welcome to the interview. The battle for the White House is heating up as GOP hopefuls are struggling for the nomination. Can Mitt Romney keep his lead as Rick Santorum's momentum is showing a Republican Party more divided than ever? And what are the impact of polls and money in this race, and how Barack Obama is doing among voters so far? James Barnes, political veteran journalist, will help us tackle this question today. James, thanks for being with us. The great old party appears to be torn between evangelicals, conservative voters, even Tea Partiers. Can we define the Republican base today in 2012?
That's a good question. It is divided. Evangelicals, born-again Christians, tend to be supporting Rick Santorum or Newt Gingrich. Non-evangelicals supporting Mitt Romney. Better educated Republican primary voters tend to be a little bit more towards Romney, less well-educated towards Santorum. But just as interesting as some of those demographic divides are the attitudinal divides within the Republican Party. So Republican primary voters who place a high premium on beating Barack Obama, they are voting and supporting Mitt Romney. But Republicans who say that they want a true conservative to represent them in the fall, they're voting for Rick Santorum and Newt Gingrich.
And Mitt Romney has got another problem. His contenders have made their best to isolate him as the millionaire, the billionaire candidate. How is money impacting on this campaign from that very perspective?
Well, I think a lot of people questioned, can Mitt Romney empathize with average voters? Does he understand their needs when he made hundreds of millions of dollars as a hedge fund? Right. And so I think that that's a problem. But, in the Republican Party, success has not been a big handicap. Republicans are very committed to the free market, capitalist system. So I think that it's not a big handicap for Romney. He just needs to demonstrate that he understands the needs of average Americans.
There's also a very interesting study from the Pew Research Center a few days ago that was establishing how the GOP race is rallying Democrats around Obama. What it says that almost 50 of Democrat voters are saying that now they've learned enough from those Republican containers and that they're more inclined to support their president. And there were just 30% of them back in December. Is Obama the winner of the Republican primaries process?
Well, he's the winner to the extent that Romney and Gingrich and Santorum and Ron Paul keep attacking each other, and instead of the Republican Party being able to consolidate behind a nominee and turn its attention to Obama, they're infighting amongst themselves while the president can take the high road, look presidential a little bit, and continue to raise money. I think that in recent weeks in the United States, there's been a debate about contraception and whether or not contraception should be part of a health care plan. Republicans took a pretty extreme position. Most Americans, even most Republicans, believe that contraception should be part of a health care plan. Santorum opposed, Romney very negative, questioning on that regard. When you have this is only going to rally Democrats to President Obama's side, particularly female Democrats.
Can Obama win by the grassroots politics? That the strategy that he was implementing during the last campaign. Can he really, heat up this grassroots, this Democratic base?
I think he'll have a good shot at it, but to the extent that the economy continues to sputter along in the United States, that disproportionately adversely affects minorities and younger voters, and those two constituencies were very important parts of President Obama's winning coalition 4 years ago.
Let's talk about money now. Campaign finances are the hot story this year because of Super PACs, Super PAC. They've been allowed by the Supreme Court to join the game in 2010. First, can you remind us how Super PAC work?
Well, basically, a Super PAC is allowed to collect unlimited contributions from wealthy individuals, corporations, or trade unions. And these PACs can then spend money on behalf of a candidate as long as they do not coordinate directly with the candidate. They are free to go ahead and spend money on their behalf. And Mitt Romney has been the biggest beneficiary in the Republican race. He has the wealthiest Super PAC. And for instance, just this week, his Super PAC is purchasing $1 million of advertising in Illinois, a contest that isn't going to be held, that primary, until March 20th. But his Super PAC is already, or the Super PAC that is allied with him, is allowed to spend money on advertising in this, what will be a critical primary. And so far, Romney's two primary opponents, Rick Santorum and Newt Gingrich, they haven't been able. They haven't been able. Neither they nor their Super PACs has been investing money in that kind of early advertising. So Romney's been a big winner under this system.
But can money kill this race?
Well, Romney's Super PAC has been very effective in raising doubts about his rivals, and we've seen that happen in states. The Romney Super PAC basically tore Newt Gingrich down in Iowa and then later in Florida. And the Romney Super PAC was very effective in spending in Ohio. Romney had at least a 5-to-1 advantage in television advertising spending in Ohio, and he only won that race by 0.8 of a percentage point. So Romney's Super PAC is doing a pretty good job of at least wounding his opponents.
Let's take a minute to look at the electoral map. There are a lot of swing states in the United States. Can those states swing again now in this presidential race, or are we going to see new states rising and taking the questions?
Well, I think you have some states, Florida, Ohio, that are perennial swing states, and they are going to be, I fully expect them to be tight contests in November. In 2008, Barack Obama won Indiana and Virginia. First time a Democrat had carried either one of those states since 1964, when Lyndon Johnson soundly beat Barry Goldwater, the Republican nominee. In 2012, chances are Indiana will go back to revert to its Republican column. Virginia, Obama has a shot, I think, in Virginia. And then a state like Arizona, 4 years ago, John McCain was the Republican nominee. This was a state that he managed to carry. But given the increased participation of Hispanic and Latino voters in Arizona, given some of the antipathy that Republican candidates have towards immigration, illegal immigration, and the harsh tone that they've adopted, it's possible that Obama could be competitive in Arizona.
Given the fact that Mitt Romney could be the nominee of the Republican Party, do you have any projection on the ticket for Mitt Romney? Will he go for somebody like Marco Rubio, for instance?
I think Rubio would probably be a very good candidate for him. Rubio gives you three things at least. Number one, Florida. He's pretty popular in Florida. Number two, he might have a broader appeal to Hispanic voters and help Romney in other states, Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada, all be competitive, large Hispanic populations. And also, he's young, youthful. He's, Mitt Romney today, Mitt Romney turned 65 years old, and having a younger candidate as his running mate, I think, would perhaps make a little bit of a play towards the youth vote, which was very strong for Obama in 2008.
James Barnes, many thanks for your insight, perspective, and also projection on this American race. Let's stay focused and let's stay connected on France 24, France 24. Stay on for some more news.